Hey, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video I'm doing a review of the Unbound Undated version. So I previously did a review of the 2018 edition. I'll include the link in the description box below. This one is undated, so you can start using it at any time. It is quite similar to the dated version with a few slight differences. So there's a few more cover options available now. So this one is a pretty purple colour that I chose. My 2018 one, I'll have it here so I can do some comparisons in this review, was a grey colour. In terms of the size, they're the same. The width is about 6.25 inches wide by about 8.5 inches high, so I call that a medium size. It is hardbound, so it's got like the stitched binding. It does lay flat, so I know if you watch any of my other review videos, you probably have me mention many times that I tend to avoid this type of planner because they don't lay flat. However, this one the pages do, which is great. Yep, about probably 1.5 centimeters thick, not too bad. Quite lightweight, especially given how thick it is. Now the reason it's a bit thicker than most, because most weekly planners are probably about 1 centimeter thick, is because it has weekly overview pages as well as the months, as well as the weekly spread. So it does have quite a lot of pages in here. So undated, add whatever year you like. It's got similar pages at the start to the dated version in terms of self-reflection, goal setting, all those types of pages, project planning. That's dot grid paper. I don't know if you can see that. Zoom in. And this page here is one of my favorites, a yearly goals one. I really like having a sort of timeline. You know, you can shade in the box and say I'm going to work on this in January, February, March, and like by quarter and color coding. I just really like this sort of format for an overview for yearly goals. Then we go into the year at a glance, which is obviously very simple. Use it however you like. You could do birthdays, anniversaries, projects, whatever. There's no like set way to use it, so sometimes I'll say like a birthdays calendar and I'll immediately white that out and then use it however I want, so at least it's open-ended. Now these pages are another favourite of mine, the goal breakdown. So lots of boxes for you to put the steps in there or the different things that you need to buy or anything really, because it's open-ended. And then we over here have the key milestones and then some steps, and that is again dot grid paper, which I'm seeing more and more in planners, and I used to be against it, but now I'm actually finding I prefer it more because it's not busy to look at, and then you can draw neat boxes like the check boxes really easily as well. So you get quite a few of these pages to break down all those goals you mapped out on previous pages. So let's go to the months. So all of the monthly calendars are at the front of the planner, which I actually prefer because then I can just flick to the front when I want the month rather than trying to find it, because this planner does not have tabs, as is the case with most hardbound planners. There are no tabs, so I find having the month at the front is a lot easier than having it dispersed throughout. And obviously because it's undated, if it was dispersed throughout you'd have difficulty finding it and it will just get jumbled. So the boxes are empty. Add whatever dates you like depending on the month that you're doing, and it has 5 rows, so if you run out of space and you've got the 31st, you don't have to split the box in 2, you can just restart the numbering up the top row, which obviously I like doing because I just don't understand why planners split a box in 2 and then you have no space to plan. Doesn't really make sense to me. At the top you have the monthly focus, goals and things to do, and then gifts, a reflection, and then some open-ended dot grid. So if you wanted to compare this one with the dated version, they're quite similar with a few slight variances. So this little gift card section was a bit different, and it also had the dates at a glance section as well, but otherwise much the same. And then we've got a few of these monthly pages before we get to the weekly spreads. So each week gets an overview plus the actual weekly planning space, which is obviously something that most planners don't include, and hence why I really like this planner. So I don't tend to use vertical, which is the layout of the weekly spread, so I would probably just use this as my weekly planner because I prefer to just do lots of list making, and this one obviously has heaps of that. So you've got 8 priorities, morning routine, weekly goals, and then this I really like. I call this little things, and they've put easy tasks and then bigger tasks. I like being able to separate them, and then an inbuilt-in habit tracker, and then lots and lots of lined note space and dot grid as well. So I'm going to use this as blog planning, and then obviously my to-dos, and then when I tried out the 2018 version I had my blog posts and my workflow written out on the pages. So vertical, I know it's quite popular but I personally find columns a bit narrow, so what I did was I turned the page and then I used it like a horizontal planner. The only difference between this version, the undated one, and the 2018 is the addition of these little dots at the top, which like a top 3. So if I grab the 2018 version, this is what it looked like, where it just had blank up the top. So, and then these boxes as well had some like suggested uses, whereas this one, they still have that, but they've added the dots and removed the little focus thing. Starts on a Monday, and the weekly overviews habit tracker also starts on a Monday, and because those monthly calendars are undated, you can start it on a Monday to keep it consistent, because in the 2018 one the monthly calendar started on a Sunday. So if you're like me and just want to keep it all consistent, you can do that with this undated one. So nice simple layout, you get lots and lots of these, continue throughout the whole planner, and the paper is super bright white. Don't know if you can see that, but this is some of the whitest paper I've ever seen in a hardbound planner, which is a nice change because most of them have that yucky yellow paper, which I'm definitely not a fan of. At the back we have some lined notes pages and also some dot grid pages. So you get a bit of both. These pages are numbered if you wanted to add an index somewhere, like on your notes pages. If you were doing a bit of bullet journaling or DIYing up a monthly habit tracker or whatever you wanted to do, a savings tracker, mood tracker, anything that you like, then you have that option. It's the same as the back of the 2018 one, which had the end of year reflection and then also the dot grid pages. And if I just show you, I did a pen test. Sorry, it's a bit awkward with one hand. I did a pen test in the 2018 version and the paper looks the same in this undated version. So overall, I tried out a fair few gel pens, fine tips, stamps, highlighters, and there was some ghosting for pretty much all the pens. The faintest one would probably be my favorite, which is the Inkjoy gel from Papermate. And then highlighters did have some heavy ghosting as well, so just keep that in mind. However, you do get super bright white paper, so I guess just a trade-off of what you prefer. So at the back of this one, I don't think I saw any of the end of year reflection goal setting pages. I think it just goes from the end of the weekly spreads to those notes pages. And we do get one, sorry, my bad. Okay, so we do get the end of year reflection, which looks a bit different to the 2018 one. I quite like this new edition here. Let me open up the 2018 one. Again, sorry, a little awkward with one hand. Yeah, so they have beefed that up a bit from just a few little questions. So it's very simple in the previous one, and now there's a whole line writing space, which I love, and then heaps more detailed questions. I really, really like this, rating things. And then, yeah, then we go into the notes pages. So on the whole, I do think that there have been quite a few improvements since the 2018 version, and I do prefer this undated version simply because then I can stop and start and use it whenever I like, rather than feeling like I'm sort of wasting pages, because I tend to flick between different planners, and then if you miss a week it doesn't really matter because you can just keep going. The months are also at the front of the calendar, all the monthly calendars, so you know, easier to find because hardbound don't have tabs, so you're not trying to flick through, find where it is. You can just go to the front and find it. Also really like the overview pages, and then the improvement with the weekly spread to have the little top 3 as well. So yes, I would recommend this planner. I'll have the link to the 2018 versions review if you wanted to see the full day out, because I know I sort of jumped back and forth between them a bit. That link will be in the description box below. In terms of the covers, I think I do prefer this nice purpley colour. Looks a bit more pretty than the like grey colour. There's a few different colour options to choose from. If you're going to pick one, I recommend the pretty purple. So I'll see you in the next review video.